Oh, this whole thing just doesn't want to die. Got about that far way through, and the old Canadian Tire Special finally gave up the ghost. This old gem has destroyed many an automobile, but it just wasn't meant to be. So had to upgrade our firepower. So we're gonna keep this old gem around and stay tuned for a restoration video on it. Get it all spruced up again, back into working order. Oh, it's a sad day indeed, but we've got the technology to fix it up. Just good as new. Wow, this thing is pretty tough actually. I'm gonna plug it back in and see if it actually works now. See if it works. Seriously? I don't understand. Okay. I just wasted a trip to the store and $100 on a new Sawzall. I didn't have to. I just had to hit this one with a hammer several times. Yeah. Never mind. It's done. What a lovely sound. Make sure you never hurt anyone again. Well, I got this absolute nightmare moved in yesterday, and that wasn't fun to do by myself. I can tell you that right now. But we managed to get it in with a little help from the old Malibu there, and a lot of struggling. But oh, it's totally worthwhile because now I get to work on it. Hooray for that. I think we already did a quick walk around to this before. I did pull the windshield out. It was broken, and I gutted the interior when it was still outside and cleaned out the rat's nest in here, but it stinks in here still. Like, I've never had a vehicle that stinks this bad, so there's got to be a nest still lurking somewhere in here because it's quite pungent, and I'm not enjoying it at all. But now that it's stripped out, we can take a look at the state of the structure, and as we can see, it has certainly gone away on us. So we're going to be into this for floor pans, inner cowl. There's a brace in between the cowl and the outer cowl that needs to be replaced. Some repair down at the bottom of the post here. New cab corners, obviously. Doors are okay. And then the outer cowl. So some of this is new sheet metal that I bought, and some of this is going to be fabricated in-house here. Now, what is the vision for this truck? Well, as I stated in my last video, it is not getting restored. I am making the cab solid again, so we're doing the rust repair on the cab, and these fenders, let's be honest, they are garbage, but I am going to take them and I'm going to make them into something that could be used on what I would call like a beater shop truck type thing. So you could go down the road with these fenders on and not be completely embarrassed. So these trucks are just they're popular enough where there's enough of them around that it's not worth my time to make these fenders perfect. So instead, we're just gonna kind of scab them together, make them into something that resembles a fender again, and something that kind of will hold up to driving without making them flawless, which is just not something that's worth my time. All four fenders are very poor, so we've got some lots of dents to knock out and what have you. And also got to do something with the grill there. Obviously it's quite badly damaged. I've got a bunch of grills with random bars damage on them, so I'm hoping I can kind of splice the grill together. And obviously we've got better bumpers kicking around, so we can fix that up. This fender is quite poor, got a big ding in it. And it's the same deal over here. Again, these fenders are they've been fixed already multiple times, and so we'll have some fun with them and make them look presentable, and maybe that'll inspire some of you to kind of fix up the fenders you got, and I don't know, there might be some useful tips there, I don't know. Also got to do something about running boards. Obviously we're kind of missing some stuff there. Same deal on this side, lots of floor repair, lots of inner cowls totally gone. And this looks solid, but we'll investigate into that. And same deal, this needs a cab corner. Anyways, I kind of got a vision for this truck to kind of market it as a hot rod project for someone, so which is why I'm fixing the cab, because obviously a solid cab is pretty desirable, especially in a 5-window format, so certainly worth my time to fix that up. And then we'll just spruce up the rest of it and make it look like something again. I do have an engine that I could throw in this and get it to kind of yard drive around, but I just don't think it's worth it to market this as a restoration project. I mean, if somebody does want to restore it, they still can, but this truck was literally driven into the ground, so I just wouldn't really feel right marketing this as, you know, a good restoration start. If you're going to restore a truck, you'd be better off starting with one that hasn't been kicked into the ground like this one has. This way, you know, somebody can swap in a new rear end and drop axle or Mustang 2 or whatever they do, and put in a modern V8 and stuff, and have a pretty cool truck. But I just want to show you guys what we can do with a little bit of work and a little bit of labor. A couple weeks of labor into this thing, and we'll have something that actually is a feasible project for someone to. So I think it's going to be easier to knock this big dent out while the fender is still bolted to the truck. So I'm just going to do that real quick, and then I'll start taking the bolts out. Yeah, well, it's still a little low and still needs a bunch of fine tuning there, but for less than 10 minutes, that's certainly looking a bit better than it was. So you can see I started by just pulling this edge out as best I could. So then there was a big ridge here. So I just started up here and just slowly chased that ridge down. And then, I don't know if it showed up on the camera or not, but by the time I got down to here and this big low spot here, once I chased that ridge down into here, this actually just popped out on its own accord, which is kind of what we were after. Now that we got it roughed out, you know, I can do the rest of this with the fender off the truck or whatever. So again, not going for perfection, but we can certainly make a little better than this, and already massively improved from what it was for almost no time whatsoever. So I'll just carry on, I guess. Well, skipper, we're gonna change course and get the rest of the dents kicked out of these front fenders before I pull them off, because it's gonna be easier than chasing them around on the floor. So we got a particularly nasty ding right here, so we're gonna have to heat that up a bit with a torch to get it pulled out, and kicked in here, get a little ding there, and then a decent sized crease all through there. So we're just gonna get those all knocked out here on the time lapse and come back when this thing's looking more like a fender again. Now, there's already several videos on the channel on my dent repair process and the tools I use, so there's no sense in repeating myself 7,000 times in every video. Our team of scientists haven't made any breakthroughs in the dent repair department since those videos were produced, so if you want to learn more, you can go back and check out those videos. This is mostly meant to be inspirational programming to show you what can be done with a big pile of garbage. There you go, that's starting to look like a usable fender. Still needs a bunch of fine tuning and whatever. Not too sure how far I'm taking it, but I mean, you could pretty well say that's a fender that could be used on a truck, and with a little bit of body work, it would actually pass off as a good fender. So we got these dents kicked out here, and they'll need a bunch of fine tuning, but certainly much more presentable now, and all the ferocious damage has been taken care of. I'm not sure what we're doing yet for a finish on this truck, so I just kind of blended in some, I guess, patina or whatever the kids are calling it nowadays, just to kind of cover it up for now, because I'm going to take this fender off and probably leave it outside, so at least it's covered up and while I'm working on the cab and stuff. How come you guys didn't remind me to disconnect the choke cable? Come on. Like, pretend I haven't done that before, but not the first time. So let's kind of repeat the process on this fender. Originally, I actually thought this was the better fender, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it's actually worse than the other side. So we got a lot of dents here, and then it's actually kicked in quite a bit at the front, and then this is all twanged up here. See, that's very mangled, and it's pushed out of the back, but I think that's partially caused by just the actual cowl on the cab being completely rusted out where it bolts to, so it's just kind of hanging out there. And But this is all going to take some time to get ironed out, as well as this. This is quite bad in here. So we got our work cut out for us to kind of get that straightened out. And there is an old-timey repair in the top here, which I'm going to try not to disturb because I don't want to open up that can of worms. But I'll have to try to kind of get this out without making this any worse. It looks like there's possibly an old rust repair in here. It's not quite done to today's standards, but it looks like they did weld it in, and for the standards of an old repair, it's actually not bad. And it's holding up reasonably well, so I just gotta be mindful of my time on this truck and what we're trying to achieve with it. So we'll just kind of pretend we never looked under there and just knock out the rest of this, make this into a presentable looking fender, and then somebody can do as they please with it once I sell it. Well, I'm gonna stop there. We could just spend an eternity of time getting this thing perfected, but the shape is back, which is all we were really going for. So we can come back and fine tune it a little more later, depending on what we're doing with the rest of the truck. Our scabby old fender is starting to look pretty presentable. But I want to get these fenders pulled off tonight, so we'll just stop here and get the fenders yanked off, and then we can proceed with the rest of our repairs on the truck. At least we know we've got 2 usable fenders on the front now. Also, if any of you old bodymen are watching, let me know what kind of filler they used on this repair, because I beat the absolute snot out of this and like it didn't crack at all. It did crack up here, but that's not from me banging on it. That was there before. So everywhere down here where I was hammering on it, it stayed in place. So I think I'm gonna let me know what kind of filler this was, and I'm gonna try to find some new old stock filler, and we'll just start using that instead of our useless hammers and dollies and things, because that just takes way too much time. Well, that about does it for our Fender rough out, whatever you want to call it. Stay tuned next time. We're going to probably do something about this grill here. I haven't tried doing anything with one of the grills in these trucks before. Normally I just find a better one, but all I've got is junk grills, so we're going to try to, I don't know, do a grill splice or try to straighten this one out. I don't know what the plan is yet, but get these fenders off and go from there. So I found these at the store. Do you know they make a Sawzall blade specifically for exactly what we're doing here? Wish I would have known about these earlier. Could have saved myself a fortune on wrenches and things over the years. All you really need is this. Look at that. Even tells you where you can cut. It's basically what we're doing. We're cutting away the front and the back, just keeping the center. Very good. Let's get to it. Well, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned if you want to see some more on this old truck. What do you think of my new trucks? Are they terrible? Yes. Hmm?